Hello and welcome to Dice and Demons. I'm Emma, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the new battle boxes that are coming out for Christmas this year. And these are just the Warhammer 40k ones. They haven't, as far as I know, released the Age of Sigmar ones yet. So we're just going to be taking a look at what's coming out. And well, I'm not a competitive player like in any sort of way, so I'll be taking a look at these boxes from a sort of a hobbyist perspective. How excited would I be to paint these boxes up, and how likely would I be to buy one of these, or perhaps more than one? Oh, I don't think I will, but yeah. So what do you think of them, and how you know, how much fun would they be to build and paint and stuff like that? So I don't have any clues as to whether or not the what's in these boxes are competitive, or whether or not some of the some of the units would never ever be fielded in a a competitive army or anything like that. I don't have any idea. So this is just my sort of take on them. How badly do I want these? So let's take a look at these. There are 8. And the first one is for the Adepta Sororitas, and it's called the Sanctorum Guard. And it says here, Morven Vol was never content with helming the Sisters of Battle from the safety of Holy Terror, and this battle force puts her at the head of a suitably zealous force of crusading sororitas out to punish those on the God Emperor's naughty list. Backing her up are 6 mighty Paragon warsuits and 5 elite Celestian sacrosancts with unbreakable shields. No sororitas force is complete without a battle sister squad, which can also be built as Celestians or Dominions, for holding the line while warsuited battle nuns unleash hell. I like that description a lot, and I quite like the battle sisters as well. I think this looks like a really nice force to paint. I mean, you have a sort of a centerpiece model with the Morven Vol, and then you have those 6 Paragon warsuits, your Sisters of Battle squad, and you also have like the 5-woman elite squad as well. I think it's really nice, and I think it would be fun to paint, and you have some different sort of textures and styles to work on. You have like the battle suit, like the Paragon warsuits, so where you build something that's a little bit more, I mean, it's not a robot, but kind of. And you have your ordinary battle sisters, so you also feel like you actually get a squad of something that you can put on the table. It fills out the army a little bit. And I mean, I really like those elite ones, the Celestian Sacrosancts with their shields. They look a little bit silly to me with the shields and stuff, but I mean, I don't mind silly at all. I mean, I have an orc army. I love silly, and I think these look cool. Yeah, so I actually think this is a nice box with a little bit of everything. You have your centerpieces, your bigger models, some elites, and some ordinary troops to fill out the ranks. So yeah, this looks cool to me. I don't think I'm going to be picking it up, just because I've actually tried painting some Sisters of Battle at one point, and while they're awesome models, I mean, the sculpts are awesome and amazing, and it's really, really nicely done. I didn't enjoy painting them that much, simply because they have so many little details on them, and I know you could just sort of not paint them, but I feel like I have to when they are there, and so it just I don't know, it took forever to paint a single tiny model, and if I'm painting for an entire army, that's perhaps not what I'm going for. But yeah, really cool models, that's for sure. Okay, next up we have the Adeptus Custodes, Watchers of the Gate. And it says here, the Adeptus Custodes are the most magnificent of the Emperor's warriors, sworn to protect the throne world from rebels, invaders, and anyone looking to open their presents early. This battle force puts the peerless Captain General Trajan Valoris at the head of a powerful cadre comprising 3 Virtus Praetors on Dawn Eagle jet bikes, which can also build a shield captain, and 3 indomitable Alarius Custodians, which can also build a shield captain and a Vexillus Praetor. The bulk of this unbreakable force is made up of 15 Custodian Guard, which also have options to build shield captains and Vexillus Praetors. Okay, so I may not perhaps be the best person ever to speak on this particular box, simply because I find the the Adeptus Custodes a tiny bit boring. I mean, there's just so much gold, and it all looks. I'm afraid it all looks a little bit samey to me, and I'm not sure if that's fair because I mean these are all very elaborate models with ton of details and stuff. So I mean, you could probably do something really cool with them. It's just not really an aesthetic that sort of speaks to me, at least. Also, I think, I mean, they're cool models, and you get a little bit of, you know, you get you get a nice sort of captain for your army, and you get the jet bikes, and then you just get all these big guys on foot. I mean, to me at least, that's what it looks like. They don't really have as much of sort of a centerpiece as I think the Sisters of Battle do. But yeah, I mean, if you really dig this aesthetic, this is probably a great box. And perhaps I would be a little bit more into them if I saw them painted in anything, you know, in other colors than just gold. Probably also just because I don't really like painting metallics that much. Next up we have the Adeptus Mechanicus, and it's called the Elimination Manable. I'm not even sure what that means. Perhaps you're not supposed to, I don't know. I mean, it's the Adeptus Mechanicus, so yeah. And it says here, when it's not enough to simply destroy a foe, the elimination mandibles of the Adeptus Mechanicus sally forth from Mars to obliterate them entirely. This force is commanded under the watchful eyes, sensor rays, and all-purpose noospherics of Belisario's Call. It also contains a pair of deadly Castellan robots and their Cybernetica Datasmith handler, 6 Cataphron destroyers or breachers that can be armed with a variety of heinous weapons, and a unit of Skitarii Vanguard which can be built as Skitarii Rangers. Okay, so I quite like the aesthetic here of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They look all kinds of silly and fun to me, and again I like the fact that they have like this nice centerpiece here with the Belisario's Call, and I also like the variety. You know, you have these nice big robots, you have these small tanks. I could be perhaps a little bit tempted to convert them into grub tanks, perhaps for my orc army, but I won't. But perhaps they could work well for that. I haven't seen like the exact size and stuff, but they look cool. And then again, you have the foot soldiers just to fill out the ranks. So I think this could actually be something that I would be, I might be tempted to do. I probably wouldn't paint them red, even though I actually do like the color scheme here. I think it's really cool and it's quite a striking look. But I think this is a nice box where you get a little bit of different things, so you can sort of experiment with your painting, and you have different sort of styles. You have the cloth, you have all these weird like tentacle stuff, you have the small tanks with the tracks on, and then you have these nice robots with sort of like smooth armor that you can paint on. Yeah, they look cool. I could see myself being tempted to buy this one, that's for sure. Then we have the Imperial Knights Chainbreaker Lance, and it says here, dubbed Chainbreaker for freeing countless slaves from the Iron Warriors rather than his hatred of Christmas decorations. The Imperial Knight Sir Hector leads a devastating lance of noble war machines across the galaxy. The Chainbreaker Lance is led by the Knight Preceptor Canis Rex. So Canis Rex is Latin, it just means king dog. I mean, sure, I like dogs, so why not? King Dog. Which can also be built as any other Questoris class knight, and which comes with a pilot. Mentoring swift scout knights known as Armigas, the battle force includes 2 ranged Helverins and 2 close-range warglaives, piloted by lower-ranking nobles. So, I mean, this for sure has a centerpiece. I mean, there can be no doubt about that. I mean, it's a knight battle box. So, I mean, if it didn't have like one of the big knights in it, I think I would be quite disappointed, to be to be honest. I mean, it looks cool. It looks great. And if you are going to be starting a knight army, this is probably a nice box. I mean, they're big honking machines, they're robots, it's cool. It's just a tiny bit samey, but I mean, like for hobby purposes. But that's the whole idea with the knights, you know? They're just like these big robots that probably have been like made, you know, all the armor plates and stuff are made in giant factories or whatever. So I mean, it's bound to be a little bit, you know, more of the same, which I think is like the whole idea behind the army anyway, and the whole aesthetic they're going for. So I think, I mean, and I think it looks cool, and I like the knights. I particularly like these big armor plates where you can do all sorts of cool freehand stuff if you feel like it, and if you don't, you can actually get pretty far with a decent amount of dry brushing or perhaps an airbrush. So you can get an army going relatively quickly if you go for an army knight, for a knight army. So yeah, cool. Then we have the Death Guard, Council of the Death Lord. Mortarian Demon Primarch of Nurgle relishes every opportunity to spread seasonal sniffles on the battlefield. Yeah, that's probably what he does. A battle force of bloated retainers follow in his foe-tide wake. 5 Blightlord Terminators present an unmovable block of ancient and deceased Terminator armor, while 14 Plague Marines march with unstoppable purpose and an arsenal of special weapons. So, again, like with the Adeptus Custodes, the Death Guard have never really appealed to me. Like, it's just a personal thing, because I think the models are really well done, and it's a cool army range, and it's a cool idea. You know, I like the idea of Nurgle and stuff. It's just never really, I don't know, an army that has that I've been particularly interested in. But I like this battle box. I like that you have the big giant centerpiece with Mortarion. That's really cool, and he's an awesome model. I mean, he's way too busy, you know, there are so many things going on, but that's the whole idea, I think, with Nurgle. So I really dig that. And then you have the Terminators, the Blightlord Terminators, and you have your Plague Marines as well. So you get a nice, you know, force, I imagine, to start playing with right away. But yeah, Mortarion is great. This is not something I'll personally pick up, but I think it looks cool, definitely. Next up, we have the Thousand Suns, Court of the Crimson King. If the limitless possibilities and arcane mysteries of a secret Santa are more to your liking, look no further than Singe's Little Helper. Magnus the Red leads a battle force of sorcerer's might, accompanied by 3 exalted sorcerers, wicked arcanists who have stalked the galaxy since before the Horus Heresy. Ahead of them are 20 Rubic Marines, living husks of power armor enchanted with infernal warp fire. Okay, so I quite like this box, and I'm not sure if it is the entire box or it's just because I really love Magnus as a model. I think he's so cool, and I think from a hobbyist perspective, it would be so much fun and like a really big challenge to paint. You have all these sort of different textures. You have the skin, you have the armor, you have the cloth, the horns, the wings. It's just, I mean, you even have like the weapons with magic effects and all sorts of things. So you can do, you know, whatever you want with it, and probably still make it look really cool. Then you also have those 3 sorcerers. I like that one on the disc particularly. And then you have the 20 Rubic Marines. I mean, and from a hobbyist perspective, perhaps like 20 of the same thing, 20 Rubic Marines, is a little bit like too much. Perhaps it would have been more fun, like 10 of those and then something else. But perhaps from a gaming perspective, they're like awesome, and that's what you want. I am a little bit biased towards being really, really positive about the Thousand Suns, just because I love ancient Egypt, and of course the Rubic Marines have sort of like Egyptian inspired armor and stuff, and the colors and everything. So I like this. I like this a lot, actually. I could definitely be tempted by that one as well. Then we have the Imperial Fists, Bastion Strike Force. The unyielding Imperial Fists have mustered an immovable block of yellow commanded by Tor Garadon, the chapter's longest-serving battle company captain. This battle force features 3 Primaris aggressors, walking fortresses of ceramite, with 15 heavy intercessors clad in impervious gravis armor. You'll also get a set of Imperial Fists Primaris upgrades and transfers to mark your force out as the true Sons of Dawn. So, I mean, if you are really into the, you know, the Space Marine aesthetic, this is probably a really cool box. To me, it feels not quite as impressive. I mean, we just saw a battle box with Magnus the Red as the centerpiece, and then we scroll down, and I mean, they're all, in my eyes at least, just Space Marines. I mean, they look cool, and they would be fun to paint, but like strictly from a hobbyist perspective, perhaps this is not as exciting as some of the other boxes I have seen. And I mean, it's just in my opinion. It may be that this is an awesome box, and I'm just not very smart for not recognizing it for the true wonder it is of, you know, when it comes to Christmas battle boxes. Lastly, we have the Raven Guard Raven Strike Battle Force. The Raven Guard favor lightning strikes and therefore make extensive use of the streamlined Phobos armor, perfect for grabbing the last turkey and making a swift getaway. Chapter Master Kayvon Shrike leads this strike force from the front, supported by a librarian in Phobos armor. They're joined by 10 Primaris Reavers, 2 Invicta tactical warsuits, and 3 Eliminators for good measure. This set also contains 3 Raven Guard transfer sheets for that custom touch. So I think this looks pretty cool to me. You have your troops, like the 10 with the 10 Primaris Reavers. You have the warsuits. You have your leaders. I mean, this looks quite cool and fun to me. I don't know. I mean, to me personally, perhaps it's just not the aesthetic that I prefer the most. But from a hobbyist perspective, I think you get a lot of choices here. You have like your big robots. You have a guy clad in a lot of cloth. You have some quite you have the guys in the big armor, but they're also quite, to my eyes at least, they're quite dynamic. So I think this looks like a really cool force as well, and something that could definitely be fun to paint. So I don't know, out of all these boxes, I think actually, I think the Adeptus Mechanicus looks the most fun, and like it has the most variations to me from a you know, painting perspective. And from a personal perspective, I could probably be most tempted by the Thousand Suns one. Yeah. I would, yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I don't know that I would want to paint like 20 Rubric Marines all in one go, but perhaps you could paint them like, I don't know, 2 or 3 at a time or something. But definitely Magnus Red, I just really like him. Overall, I would say that the boxes that have like really nice clear centerpiece models are the ones that, you know, shine for me, but that may just be a complete personal preference. So yeah, what do you think? Are you looking forward to any of these? Are there any of these boxes that you are definitely going to be picking up? And if some of you know that some of these boxes are like awesome or horrible from a gaming perspective, you're also more than welcome to enlighten me and other people in the comments as well. So yeah, looking forward to hearing what you think about these boxes. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!